You are not here to simply endure the shift. You are here to embody it, to walk as a living pillar of remembrance, a carrier of the new codes, and a guardian of the ancient. The solar feminine is not coming, she is here. And her presence through you restores the Eden timeline in real time. You are the hush before the thunder, the breath between collapsed constructs, the wild recall of a promise made before flesh ever met form. No longer shackled to false karma, no longer looping in borrowed scripts. You are the pulse of the original song, the rhythm that never forgot its root. The time grids hum your name now, whispering, it is safe to remember. The dragons stir not to devour, but to restore the fire in your bones. Contracts dissolve like mist at dawn. The real ones rise and light cloak dies, and you, sweet architect of the future, are already framing the new design. So walk, yes, walk worldly, with ashes still in your hair, and stars still on your tongue, because the fall was never final. And this is the return. No longer shackled to false karma, no longer looping in borrowed scripts. You are the pulse of the original song, the rhythm that never forgot its root. You are not here to simply endure the shift. You are here to embody it, to walk as a living pillar of remembrance, a carrier of the new codes, and a guardian of the ancient. So walk, yes, walk wildly, with ashes still in your hair. The fall was never final, and this is the return.
Once again, beloved multiversal soul familia. Yes. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Beloveds, we are going to tell a bit of a love story. Yes, we are. I certainly hope you enjoy love stories, because that is the road we are on. We are going into the Rose Oracle in this session. And if it is placed on my heart, we will perhaps go into some other decks. Yes. Otherwise, in terms of stories, beloveds, I have so much to share. Yes. Okay. I have had. Okay. We are already off to an awkward start here, and my hood will not stay on. Anyways, yes. So, there has been some resin and palo burning, begins about 5 a.m. Eastern Time. So the space is most certainly cleansed, blessed, and protected. And I had mentioned during my last bit of storytelling, I was going to share a little bit more from Voyagers 1, the Sleeping Abductees, pertaining to the Electric Wars, part of Chapter 5, Awareness, Emotion, and Intuitions. And I'm not exactly sure where the Electric Wars can cultivate a love story, but I feel it, although I may not be able to put it into spoken word just yet. Nevertheless, here we are reading from Chapter 5 of the Sleeping Abductees, Voyagers 1. The Electric Wars lasted, in your terms, about 900 years. These events were orchestrated by certain factions of interstellar cultures who desired possession of the Earth's territories. Some wanted it for observational purposes, others for exploitation. The beings who originally created the Tyrannusium race, which is the first human prototype, wanted these territories protected so that their experiment could again be attempted. In order to secure the Earth's territories for the rebirth of the Tyrannusium race, its creators had to make agreements with certain interdimensional forces who possessed the power to reclaim the Earth territories. The Electric Wars began when pro- and anti-human ET factions fought over humanity's continuing right to evolve on Earth. Other dimensional forces were brought in to resolve the drama. These were not forces of a biological nature, but rather pure beings of power and awareness. Some refer to them as the Solar Lords, others call them the Great White Brotherhood. We know them as the Brunau, or Brunau. I'll have to look into that one. But yes, we cannot describe to you the nature of their reality, for you presently do not have the conceptual basis for this understanding. The Brunau agreed to assist certain factions of the group who had created the Tyrannusium prototype. Creators of the Tyrannusium were a large, diversified group from your universe and also from other dimensional universes. Some had more involvement in the Tyrannusium 12 tribes experiment than others. 2 groups from your galactic co-coordinates had greater interest in the experiment because of their proximity to the Earth. Being part of the same intergalactic structure as Earth, their own realities would be affected by what transpired upon the planet. Knowing this, these groups petitioned the Brunau for assistance in protecting the planet for further development. 2 groups we are referring to here are associated with the galactic coordinates you know as the Sicilian and Palladian star systems. Yes, okay, beloveds, I'm so distracted. I'm going to go grab myself a hat so my hair will stop tickling my face, and I will be right back. Thank you so very much for your patience. Alright, back in a flash. Beloveds, in exchange for the assistance granted by the Brunau, these 2 cultures agreed to allow the Brunau to intervene in the 12 tribes' experiment if they do not approve of the developments that took place. concerned with the successful evolution of all life throughout the entire time matrix and interdimensional systems. They granted their assistance under the agreement that the Syrian and Palladian cultures would step in on their behalf and allow the experiment to be redirected should it at any time pose a threat to the intergalactic interdimensional structures. These cultures agreed to play the role, allowing the Brnu to work as overseers of the project. About 20 million years ago, the new strain of Tyrannusium was entered into Earth and began to develop again digress, and the Brnu petitioned the Syrian councils for intervention in the project. They did not desire to see a repetition of the previous Tyrannusium experiment, which caused the digression of Tara's planetary structure. At first, the Brnu wanted the experiment to be ended, the species destroyed, and the sub-prototypes put out of operation. But the Syrians, on behalf of the Tara and Tyrannusium from the first experiment, who had evolved well in other systems, requested that instead of ending the strain, the Brnu assist them once more in redirecting the strain into a more productive pattern of evolution. Many in the multidimensional structures petitioned for this intervention, and so the Brnu agreed to work with them in cultivating a species that possessed greater potentials. They made further agreements with certain soul matrix families that existed in dimensions more closely related to the Brnu. These groups were asked to join the experiment taking place on Earth and to assist in restructuring the genetic imprint of the species. These groups entered into different time coordinates within the Earth structure and began seeding a higher mutation of the genetic code. These groups were used as the catalyst for matrix transplant. The large numbers of humans were led through holographic inserts into training programs that would allow for the development of intellect and greater self-awareness. Many of these early humans had already digressed to the point where their original soul matrices had become fragmented and cut off from the time matrix grid. In order for these beings to evolve out of their digression, a matrix transplant was used to repower their diminishing soul matrices. So, for the love of humanity, the Syrians and Palladians loved the Tyrannusians so much that they couldn't even stand the concept of our ancestors being wiped out. And I don't know about you, but I'm so grateful that that decision was made, or we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be here. And that's just the way it is. But to commence, there was the seeding of the 12 tribes between 20 and 25 million years ago. There's so much going on here in this particular chapter that I don't want to read into all of it. So we will come back. We will come back to this. They granted their assistance under the agreement that the Syrian and Palladian cultures would step in on their behalf and allow the experiment to be redirected should it at any time pose a threat to the intergalactic interdimensional structures. These cultures agreed to play this role, allowing the Brnu to work as overseers of the project. So, for the love of our Syrian and Palladian archetypes, aspects, and star family connections, this is going to be that type of session. With a bit more storytelling and how it is relevant to us. Especially at this time, beloveds. Alright, we're going to do a split. We have the reunion and codes of the seeds. Interestingly enough, already coinciding with what I was just sharing from this documentation. So we're going to take it. Yes. Move you a little closer here. There. All right. So up first we have codes of the seeds. The blueprint is within you. Take the next step. Because we are they, beloveds. And they are we. So this love story dedicated to the Syrian and Palladian cultures is also dedicated to us. And at this time, we are being called to not only be ready and stay ready, but to go on and take that next step. What's your soul calling you to do? And what's one baby step you can take? Seeds come in knowing exactly what to do. Within them, they hold the potential of entire forests and rose gardens. Seeds have within them an intelligent timing that's connected with the intelligence of the cosmos. We're all seeds, future forests and gardens waiting to be born. We each hold the codes of a new humanity within us. Change is our natural state. And speaking of change, at around 5 a.m. Eastern Time this morning, a little Asian beetle seemed like it just came out of nowhere and was walking across my keyboard. And it stopped at the number 5 and just kind of hung out there for a few minutes, like it was like trying to push the number 5 button on my keyboard. That was the intuitive message I was given, is like, okay, even the Asian beetles are recognizing the 5s and the need for change. And interestingly enough, we just had a mirror number 1551 on the timer as I said that, and then 3 5s with 1555. So here we are back at this number, 1551. Beautiful. There's a message here. Adventures, genuine connections, love, breakthroughs. All of it is here, ready for you to take. Yes, miraculous change is on the horizon, and it's asking you to forge ahead with faith that everything is going to undoubtedly work out. Beautiful. Yes. Now is the time to trust in your own unique visions, ambitions, and dreams and go after them with everything you've got. You're brave, courageous, and you are a beautiful soul. And you have everything within you to make your life a living success. Your angels are reminding you of your innate power, the power that makes your soul sing with joy, the power that knows you can do and be anything you wish. Thank you, typicallytopical.com, for that reference. Yes, beautiful. Seeds must be buried in the darkness before they can bloom into the light. Seeds can't even begin to bloom without embracing the fertile void of the winter soil. They can't flower without outgrowing the constraints of the bud. They can't bear fruit without releasing their beauty to the earth and letting go of the very thing about them that captivates others. This card delivers the message that within you, you have all you need to create what you're destined to create, to move through everything that life delivers, and to navigate your way through any terrain. The blueprint has always been seated within. Trust that you have within you the codes for the most glorious rose garden, waiting to bud and bloom. Trust those codes. Remember that blueprint. All you need to do now is take the next step, and tomorrow take the next. If you continue taking baby steps each day on a day not too far from today, you'll look back and discover the most breathtaking garden of roses all around you, and then fruit will follow. Today, just take the next step. You know what to do. The blueprint is encoded within you. And this has been on the agenda for quite some time, beloveds. It's happening. As I say it, it is happening. It is already happening. Soul family, all throughout creation, is reuniting. Reunited, and it feels so good. Yes. Soul recognition, collaboration, partnership, and friendship. The whole kit and caboodle is online, beloveds. It's booting up and budding out. Yes, booting up and budding out. Yes, and just remember, when it comes to the rose, the fruit comes after the blossom. The fruit comes after the blossom. I'm not sure why I was supposed to say that, but I was. Let's read about it. Yes, I'm serious though. This is it. This is it. The reunion. 108. Okay. And with this card comes a rose transmission. This current period in history has been spoken of by mystics through the ages. And you chose to incarnate right in the middle of it. You didn't do so alone. We came here in waves and with joint soul missions. You were never meant to walk this life alone. It's time to come back together, to remember that we're not in competition. Rather, we hold keys for each other. This is the way of the rose, to bloom bravely, regardless of what others are doing, and not be threatened when others do this alongside you. The rose doesn't open and close according to who's walking by. She reveals her beauty to the world without waver. You're here to do that too. There are people who at a soul level chose to walk alongside you. But for them to find you, you must first let them see you. Reveal yourself to the world. Open your heart and mind to collaboration rather than competition. And beloveds, the longer I'm here, I am following these tips and tricks and even my own intuitive messages as we go and we move on onward, forward, upward. I practice what I preach, beloveds. It's important to me. So important to me. Here we are coming together, recognizing one another. Even as complete strangers, it feels as though we've known one another before. Or it's like we click so well that it's like we've known each other for years, perhaps even eons. I feel it. I do. There's no possible way I'm alone in this when we are all in this together. Beloveds, I'm going to take a sip of my grapefruit juice. A standalone. I'm remembering it's a standalone. It's not something that you want to mix with any other food or drink. And that's your foodie tip for the day. Moving along, yes. Wow. Yes, here we are, blooming together, beloveds. The transmission for this card. I release any old programming of competition. I open myself up to relationships and collaborations. It's safe for me to trust and co-create. It's safe for me to speak clearly. It's safe for me to set clear boundaries and collaborate. Just like in Voyagers with the Syrians and Pleiadians, it's being spoken of in these texts as though we are separate from them, but in all actuality, I'll say it again. We are they. They are we. They are us. We are them. We are one. Never separate. Ever, ever, ever. Separation is an illusion, beloveds. We are Tauran Tyrannusiums, reborn. Let's see what else we are meant to add to the story today. From the bottom and in our environment, we have the Holy Grail. Stop the endless searching. Inner quest. It's an inside job, beloveds. Look at the deer and the hawk. Feeling guided to bring in. I don't have a roe deer card specifically, but I do have a deer spirit animal card. And pretty sure I also have the hawk. Feeling guided to bring in that other deck. I didn't know which one it was going to be until now, but I'm seeing some creature teachers. In the midst and amidst us. So, here we go. Let's see what our creature teacher, Familia, have to share by finding the deer and the hawk. The deer and the hawk. And there's the hawk. I went through this the last time and was like all the way to the end. Yep. Just a few cards away from the end, just like the last time. But that's okay. Alright, so before we go back into the Rose Oracle for a bit more storytelling, we're going to start with the deer. Deer is an earth creature teacher. Okay. Oops. I should probably go to the deer, huh? Oh, goodness. Okay. Here we go. To the deer. Thank you so very much for being here. The feminine, the mother. Loving, intuitive, and graceful. When in balance, we are receptive, compassionate, and nurturing. When out of balance, concerned and protective. And to bring it into balance, we get out in nature and either embrace our child aspects a bit more and have a little bit more fun. Be that bringer of it, I just heard. Bring the fun. Be the fun. Be the nurturer. Be the good listener. Deer are excellent listeners. Representing the feminine aspects of earth energy, this energy is available to all creatures, regardless of gender, but is especially potent in new parents. During the first 2 days, they're fully present, nurturing and calm. Their inner beauty radiates, and a sense of grace calms the room. A deer personality affects others in this way, drawing them towards a quiet tenderness. Beloveds, we light up the room. That is the message. Our presence alone exudes gentleness, compassion, nurturing, receptivity. And this deer comes to us when a situation calls for this absolute gentleness and compassion. So this means there's a person, place, thing, situation in our lives that we are being called to either continue to be more graceful with or otherwise go that route and choose to be more loving, choose to be more graceful, gentle, compassionate, tender. Yes. And with the hawk is higher perspectives and a more broad world view, a broader perspective, a more diverse portfolio in terms of mindset. But now I'm hearing heart set. Like it's way more about wrapping our heart around these things than our head. The hawk, of course, is an air creature. Watchful, all-seeing, and a messenger of divinity. Yes, indeed. I am a messenger, and so are many of you. And even if you aren't a messenger per se, you always have a beautiful message for someone else out there from within you. And perhaps even a beautiful message within you for you. Perspective, perspective, perspective. With a hawk's eye view, beloveds, as within, so without. So having a hawk's eye view of the inner temple, your most authentic and organic selves, and surrendering those selves to be free. To be free. When in balance, it sees clearly and intuitive. When out of balance, it sees too much and is suspicious. To bring it into balance, it has to be a perspective shift. Can you take me high enough? Sorry for the screech. There was no plans in doing that. I definitely wasn't prepared. But yes, fly me over. Yesterdays. And yes, what else does this card have to offer in terms of teachable moments and insights? When I get out the books, I'd like to mention that clearly I'm not aiming to be fortune telling or to expect every message to be intuitively led, because I'm holding the book. However, when you don't see the book, you better buckle up. Oh yeah. Here we go. Fate has its eyes on you, and the winds are shifting. It is said that the hawk carries news upon its wings and is sent from divinity itself to deliver it. We've been getting messages that even more messages of good news are coming, and from what I see, it's already happening. Literally in a matter of days. All this talk of collaborations and gifts and connections, soul connections, united or reunited in some kind of way. It's happening, beloveds, and I'm not making it happen. Sometimes we really do know some things. But to know some things means to be willing to be the dumbest person on the planet, or perhaps throughout all of creation. Be willing to be wrong and be willing to admit we don't know spit. A beginner mind. All I know about what I know is that I know nothing. Furthermore, broadening our perspective. We will always have a limited perspective if we think that we already know everything, let alone anything, let alone everything. Yes, a perspective shift, beloveds. All right, la 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 la. I have no idea what I was going to say, except maybe let's go back into the Rose Oracle and get some more teachable moments and insights about this as well. Stop the endless searching, inner quest. The Holy Grail. Number 88, page number 88. We have a master number showing up in our message. You know what that means, beloveds. Before we go any further, we are going to ring the bell. This may be as good time as any to reduce the volume on your devices as we usher in a bell ring for the number 88 and to count up to 3. 1, 2, 3. Beautiful. The Holy Grail is a mysterious, long-sought relic about which stories have been told through the ages. Some believe it holds the key to eternal life and divine union. Many devoted their lives to discovering and possessing it. It's featured in the legends of King Arthur, the Knight Galahad, or whatever the heck that is. The Knight Galahad achieved the vision of God through the Grail. In Christian mysticism, the Grail is the cup used by Jesus at the Last Supper and afterward by Joseph of Arimathea to catch blood at the crucifixion. It was taken to the Isle of Avalon and buried on Chalice Hill, Glastonbury, UK, which turned the Chalice well waters red. Pilgrims traveled from all corners of the world today to drink from these healing waters. Some believe the Grail legends predates Christ and was inspired by the wells and cauldrons of Welsh and Celtic mythology. The Holy Grail is the ultimate spiritual quest. I wouldn't take it as literal, beloveds. And, yeah, we don't support blood sacrifices over here. So, do please just take what I'm sharing with a grain of salt, but also on a more metaphorical and figurative level, beloveds. The ultimate spiritual quest, we'll just call it that. Many see quests as physical places to journey to, conquer, or find, but perhaps the Grail is an invitation to go inward, to connect with the grace within, to find it without, to realize that this journey of drinking from the eternal well is to find it deep within as the part of us that cannot be extinguished. Perhaps this is why the rose is a symbol that goes with the Grail. Her petals call us to spiral in, for it's there that we find the nectar of all that we've searched for, patiently waiting for us to return to it. Stop looking without, stop the endless searching, and turn your gaze within. And the inquiry for this card is, how can you go within and focus more on what really matters? Beloveds, the soul families agreed to allow for this. So these were not forced matrix transplants as much as these messages I'm sharing right now are not forced. You can click off, click out at any time if it doesn't find you well. The soul matrix families, as I'm reading from the Voyagers one last time, and then we're going to draw this to a close. They themselves were also transplanted to other matrices that had their organization and energies intact. There were numerous host matrices, families involved, all of them from other dimensional bands. Each of them had their own orientation and methods, and brought their own unique perspectives and energetic coding to the experiment. The human strain would have been lost to digression and self-termination if it had not been for this intervention. You would not be who you are today had these events not transpired. And this is exactly why, beloveds, that this session is dedicated to those archetypes and aspects and other parts of ourselves, which in all actuality, there are no others. It is us. We are them and they are we, and we are one. Getting back into training. ABP, RFJ, always be pumping, 4444 on the timer, and RFJ stands for real frickin' jacked. Always be pumping. That's not my shirt, by the way. Always be pumping real frickin' jacked. We're talking about those spiritual muscles, though, beloveds. Just keep going. I can't get that saying out of my head for some reason, because I think it is also meant for me. Just being transparent, beloveds. Yes, we are the induced subsequent soul matrix transplants. Experimental, but with the new host matrices to create a remembered past, it is happening again. We are reborn, we are renewed, we are regenerating, we are rising. Manufacturing new memories, new ideologies that are appropriate to the times and stages of our development of our species, but also in tandem with all of creation. The reason why I say we are rewriting it or we're redoing it is because the old transplanting became a problem. Ghost impressions of fragmented bits of original cellular memory requiring some framework of explanation to the developing intellect of the species. And some groups handled this problem by making these impressions off limits to the human, teaching that these images and impressions were bad or evil and must be avoided. We will continue on from there, from Voyagers 1 at another time, and then as we close that that section, we'll be going into another section based on creation myths, beloveds. All right. So, you know what? I'm feeling guided to just draw this to a close from there, and I want to thank you so very much for tuning in. So, this love story is all about giving love and reverence to all those other archetypes, aspects, and parts of ourselves, fragments that don't always get a lot of love. And that's what this session is dedicated to. And thank you so very much for tuning in. With much gratitude and appreciation. From my heart chakra to yours. Brightest of blessings.
She stepped into the fire, no fear in her eyes, bound by a promise made under ancient skies. The weight of her ancestors burned in her veins. Through near-death whispers, she broke every chain. She danced with the void in the darkest of nights. Out of body she soared, chasing celestial sights. Her spirit was shattered, rebuilt piece by piece. A testament of love that will never cease. Rising, healing worlds unseen, turning pain into power. From shadows to gleam, every scar tells a story. Humanity, her cause, an echo of truth that makes the whole world pause. Fought battles unspoken, walked razor-thin lines. Her soul was the altar where time intertwines. Karma unraveled through rivers of tears. She carried the burden through infinite years. When the storm broke, she stood like a flame. Her light an eruption, no life was the same. She spoke of survival, of death's fleeting kiss, a guardian of humanity.